Hello Dave is brought to you ad-free by my supporters on Patreon. Become a Patreon yourself and get your name listed as a supporter at the end of every video by following the link in the video description.
Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Hello Dave with Down to Earth Astronomy. Hope you had a wonderful weekend. Today we're going to take a look at some leaked pictures that shows the Thargoids in the flesh. We're going to talk about the Noob ferries, which just keep on failing. And then I have some rather interesting news about some upcoming events, maybe live streams, and especially the live stream tomorrow. But let's dive right into this week's head news. New pictures of Thargoids has been leaked. It seems to be coming from the same source as the leak we saw, was it a month or two ago? And I'll put them up here so you can see them. Now, obviously, we have seen people leaking pictures of Thargoids before, and again, obviously, I haven't been able to completely verify it. It is from like a 4chan post, much like last time, and it did come together with some screenshots of various other, mainly internal documents from Frontier, where pretty much all the interesting parts were blurred out regarding names and stuff like that. So, but this was quite interesting. And I'm pretty sure, I mean, if these leaks and rumors, or whatever you want to call it, turns out to hold true, then I would, put that as another very strong suggestion that Space Lakes is in fact coming in the 2020 update. Of course, we can't be sure, but it definitely looks like it. I know there are people who have different opinions about these pictures and what they look like. I personally think they look pretty good. I expect these to be quite large creatures, especially if you think about the size of the Thargoid structures. If they should be walking in those hallways, they would probably be like 4 meters tall or something like that. It's impossible to guess from a render like this, of course, but I think they look quite good, and exactly how they're going to play into the game, and if they even are going to come in the game in the form they're in right now, obviously we don't know, but I think I'm positive for the way they look here, and if this is in fact the way Frontier is going, I think that the 2020 update is, or Watson as it's been codenamed, is going to be shaping up to be quite an interesting patch. But yeah, that is it. That was pretty the pictures, and there's been some other minor leaks. It's mainly stuff around Jurassic World evolution, but a lot of you guys don't really care for that. But this was the only Elite Dangerous stuff that was leaked in this time around. But if this continues, unless Frontier figures out who it is who's constantly leaking stuff, then I would probably expect that we're going to continue to see more and more stuff like this being leaked to the public. I also have a quite fun story to tell you guys. This is regarding the Noob ferries. If you recall, we got a new ferry service between the Bubble and Guardian space, ferrying people back and forth. And I've been criticizing this for only jumping once a week, saying it's way too little. It needs to jump a lot more often, a lot more frequent. And some of you made an argument saying, oh, but this is designed for newer players who maybe don't have these long-range jump ships. So there was a guy who wrote to me, and he said he has a riddle to me. So he wanted to join the first phase of the phase of the Interstellar Initiative, where we were to go down and we were to collect like Guardian materials and sell it to one of the stations there. And the guy who wrote to me, he did that, and he actually took the ferry down. His transport ship didn't have the jump capabilities, or it probably could, but it would take him a long time to get down there. So he took the ferry down there. And he spent his week there, and he collected Guardian materials and sold it and participated in the event. And then he docked up the ferry and took it back home. So he was using it exactly for its intended purposes. Here comes the problem. Now the next phase requires combat ships, and he's now stuck in the Bubble in his transport ship. And he's then wrote and said, so how are we now supposed to get back in our combat ships now that the ferry has jumped back and we're obviously not in the sector any longer? Because, combat ships have a tendency to have even shorter jump range than transport ships. And unfortunately, the best you could do would be to find the nearest, I believe there's a shipyard in the system, so you can't even ship transfer them down there, which would also be rather expensive. But you could find like a port halfway there, I guess, to ship transfer a ship to and then fly it the rest of the way. But it's still quite far. I'm not exactly sure where the closest one is, but there's not a lot of stations in that area at all. So maybe the Midway station has a shipyard, I don't know, and even if it has, it's only a medium-sized landing pad, so no large ships. I don't know. I think this just highlights the fact that yes, the idea with the ferry is very, very good, and I like that idea, but they need to jump a lot more frequent when it is short distances like that. And if these were intended to actually be used for these events, well, you just have the plain obvious fail of the right there, that someone takes the ferry down, takes it back when that part of the event is over, but can't now get back down with his next ship that he needs for the next phase. It's still initiative. If that's not an argument, I don't know what is. Okay, let's move on. I'm gonna keep this fairly short this week because I've had a lot of stuff to do this week. So moving quickly. Of course, remember, next week is Hello Dave number 100, and it's going to be a rather special one. I'm not sure how much Elite Dangerous content I'll cover at all. I'm going to do like an Ask Me Anything, and I've already received a ton of questions from you guys, and I can already tell you now that I'm not going to be able to reply or to answer all of them. I'll try to get through as many of them as I possibly can. But still, feel free to go ahead and ask more questions, and I'll try to answer as many of them as I can next week in Hello Dave number 100. And if you see a question that you like, that you want to have answered as well, drop that comment or like, so that that I know that that's something that you guys want me to try and answer. So again, please still, I haven't made the final list of the questions yet. That will be done next week, so you can still like drop your questions in the comment section. I'll pick out some of the questions and try to answer as many as I can next week. And final thing, I just quickly want to touch upon live streams tomorrow. I'm actually planning to do something rather interesting. You see, I've been playing Elite for, I don't even know, many years now. And I believe that I find myself to be quite knowledgeable about the game, at least when I tried, like, it was about almost a year ago now, to like restart brand new account. Managed to get up flying an Anaconda and have it like jump fitted and engineered with Guardian stuff, and was halfway to Colonia within 24 hours. And we even spent some time fooling around, just like jumping SRVs over canyons and stuff like that. So we had plenty of time. But it just comes to show that at this point, after playing the game so long, I have, and many of you would probably as well, have gathered enough knowledge that we just know, okay, if I need to make some quick money, I need to go to there and there and there and do this. And if I need materials, I go here. If I go like Jameson's Cobra, I go to Dav's Hope, and I go, I know exactly where all this stuff is, and I know how to get it the fastest way, because obviously we spent so much time in the game. And one of the things that I talked about in that live stream was that the new player, as much as I try to reset my an account and play again from start, I'm never going to be able to re-experience that complete new player experience, because I have all this background knowledge about where to go to get stuff. Until I realized all I need to do is move to Colonia, because I have not been keeping up with any news about what's been going on in Colonia. I know it's there. I know there are some stations. I haven't even searched up how many stations there are, how well equipped they are, or anything like that. So here's my plan. I haven't figured out exactly how I want to frame this whole thing, but I want to take one of my old accounts and move it to Colonia. Just fit it with a long-range exploration ship, get some cash, and then move off to Colonia, and then just take it from there. I'm going to begin to that's the closest thing I'm ever going to get to like the new player experience, to go back out there and try to make a life for myself out in Colonia, figure out where do I get materials for engineering, how do I unlock the engineers out there, how do I, where do I make money out there, what kind of income sources are valid out there, all that stuff. And that's something I want to try to explore, and this is probably going to be one of the next like longer term running projects in Elite. And I haven't yet decided, as I said, exactly how I'm going to do that. I'm playing with different options here. You see, I don't think doing like how-to tutorial informative kind of videos as I normally do is going to be the best way, because the vast majority of you guys live in the bubble, and you might not be interested if I make at least not that interested if I make a video about how you can make a ton of money or get a lot of engineering materials in Colonia, unless of course you want to move to Colonia as well. So I was considering trying to make it a slightly different, and if you look at the type of videos that are being made, not just by me, but by pretty much all the Daily Dangerous content creators, they're pretty much the two areas that are mostly covered are tutorials and guides, and it is like storytelling, role-playing kind of videos. But one area that you actually don't see that much is let's play in video form. There's plenty of let's play live streams. Pretty much every live stream would be a let's play type of deal, but you don't see that many in terms of videos, to be honest. It's all just the meta stuff around it and guides and role playing. So I was considering trying to do that. So make like slightly longer videos, maybe pushing them up to like 20 minutes, half an hour, where the purpose is not necessarily to show a specific thing, how you do a thing in a tutorial kind of way, which is often shorter and more compact, but more to be like taking you guys with me on the journey and taking you with me as I explore this area of space and the part of the game that I've never ever touched. And that's at least the way that I'm leaning towards the most. But again, I'm very open for feedback, exactly what you think of it. But my plan was, coming back to where this whole thing started, the live stream tomorrow. I will begin to prepare to leave. I'll get my character up, I'll make sure they have a ship fitted, and I'll cheat a little bit, and I'll make sure that I have the prerequisites I need in the bubble to unlock the engineers out there. I do believe, I'm not actually sure, that you do need to unlock some engineers in the bubble before you can get access to the engineers out in Colonia. So I'm going to make sure that I have at least those engineers unlocked, so I don't have to come back to unlock a few engineers and then fly out there again to continue unlocking engineers out there. That is the plan, at least, and begin that work tomorrow. I don't know how much time it's going to take. I don't know how much time there even is in it. I can't remember what modules I have on that character and how far I am in terms of unlocking engineers at all. I know I have, is it Farsier or the other Took? One of those two unlocked on that character. But that's the plan for tomorrow. I really hope you will join in again. Tomorrow it's going to be live streamed on YouTube, it's going to be live streamed on Twitch, and it will be live streamed at 7 o'clock in-game time. So I really hope I will see you there. And finally, yeah, I'll just have to say a big thank you to all the people on Patreon. It's because of you guys that I will keep Hello Dave's ad-free running without any kind of monetization. And of course, if you want to support the channel, there's a link for Patreon in the description below, where you can both get a chance or get your option to get your name listed at the end of the video, and you also get a discount at the merch store, which you will also find a link for in the description. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. If you liked today's video, give it a like, and if you really liked it, you could go down and hit the subscribe button, and maybe even the bell icon if you really liked it. And until next time, I'll see you guys in space.